Big news coming out of Orlando, Florida this week as Disney Springs reopens on May the 20th. Disney Springs, theme parks, resorts like that in general, important to cruisers because they are most closely aligned to that cruise experience. And so as we look to how they will deal with the new normal, what health protocols they put in place, maybe it's some foreshadowing, some things to come when it comes to the cruise line. In this episode of the Lido Loca Cruise Show, let's look at the 6 things that Disney Springs is going to do to reopen and ponder how it might apply to cruising. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Tony. If you enjoy cruise and travel content, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. Well, Disney Springs, just about an hour and a half from where I live. It will be reopening in a limited capacity on Wednesday. That's Wednesday, May the 20th, and then even a broader reopening a week later on the 27th. And in preparation of opening, they have released their health protocols, 6 major categories, and let's run through them real quick. Let me just pull them up, and we'll talk about this graphic over here. Of course, the language is where it needs to be, what you would expect it to be. In Disney, we're all in it together. So here's what you need to know about a visit to Disney Springs. Limited parking and reduced entrances during this initial phase. Guests will be directed to the orange and lime garages. If you've ever been to Disney Springs, there is a lot of parking there. It can be super confusing, but on this reopening, only 2 parking options. This is going to be interesting, and I think you'll see this at a lot of places going forward. Temperature screenings prior to entry. Guests with a temperature of 100.4 and above will not be allowed entry, nor will those in their party. This is, of course, in response to one of the symptoms of the coronavirus being a fever. So yeah, if anybody in your party has a high temperature, you're not getting into Disney Springs. Face coverings required for everyone, not everyone. All guests 3 years of age and older. So if you're 3 and older, that's the everyone. Along with cast members and employees, guests must bring their own face coverings. This has been a question. Places that require face coverings, will they provide face coverings? The answer to that question for Disney is no. I've wondered that for cruise ships. If cruise ships require face coverings, will they provide them, or will they make you bring your own? This could be an interesting essential packing item. Could you imagine getting to the cruise port and there is a face covering requirement and you didn't bring one? That would be a horrible way not to be allowed on a cruise. Again, that's who knows. Physical distancing and capacity measures, including physically distanced queues and physical barriers, are all wrapped up into one here. Is we're going to put less people in Disney Springs, going to allow less people into Disney Springs, and then once the people are in Disney Springs, there will be signage, there will be employees making sure, checking on the physical distance between the people. Operational changes, including reduced hours and temporary closures of entertainment offerings. Not everything will be open there at Disney Springs. There will be determinations that way. Cashless payment is recommended. I've seen a lot of articles on this that the new normal will be an emphasis on not handling money as a way to exchange germs between people. That will be interesting to see how deep that gets into our society. Of course, on cruising, cruising's basically cashless anyway, so not a big deal. But yes, Disney Springs not requiring you to go cashless, but recommending it. And then increased focus on cleanliness, as well as limited contact, addition of hand washing stations and hand sanitizers in key areas. The recommendations continues to be the same, trying to prevent the spread of coronavirus. Wash your hands frequently, don't touch your face, stay socially distant, and cover your face with a face covering. So how will these 6 protocols apply to cruising? I think you'll see a good amount of overlap here. Limited parking and reduced entrances. I don't know that you'll see that so much, but I do think you'll see some embarkation day changes. Of course, a staggered embarkation, so there may be some redirection as to what time you can come to the cruise terminal. I still think parking will be pretty wide open. I think it'll be more of a timing thing. Temperature screenings, no doubt this will be a part of cruising. I think you'll see it in multiple places. I think you'll get screened as you go in for embarkation. You'll probably get screened when you come back from a cruise port. You may even get screened when you get off of the cruise ship. I think there'll be a lot of temperature screenings when it comes to cruising. Face covering required for everyone. There have been some whispers in the wind when it comes to cruising. CEO Del Rio from Norwegian mentioning face mask. Some of the new health protocols for genting mentioning face coverings. I think if the current recommendation holds that where social distancing is challenged, that face coverings are essential, I think you will see it make its way onto the cruise ship. Point 4 here, yes, social distancing. The cruise lines definitely will implement some form of social distancing. It will be interesting to see what that looks like. Operational changes, that's going to be all over the place. There's questions on Royal Caribbean whether there will even be a buffet. There definitely won't be self-service buffets on cruise lines, so you will see operational changes. And then the last one, every industry will be doing this increased focus on cleanliness, not only how they clean the ship, but how you clean yourself. There will be more wash stations. There will be more people encouraging you to wash your hands. So I do think there's a lot of parallels in these protocols with what we will see on cruising. Everything that we've seen so far, the biggest pushback has been on face coverings, and so a lot of people not down with the face coverings in Disney Springs. And again, this could be foreboding as to what the policies will be when Disney World opens back up, when the resorts open back up, if these are the policies. I've seen some pushback. Interesting, it may work out that you might get limited capacity based on some of these face covering requirements. So still a lot to be seen here, but at least we do see a big attraction in Orlando opening back up again, the beginning signs that life is getting back to whatever the normal is going to be here in Florida as we continue to track along with the virus. The question for the comments is this: are you happy with these 6 protocols? Do you think it's enough? Do you think it's too much? Leave a comment below. Thanks so much for taking some time to watch the show. Please show your support by hitting the like button. This is Tony with the Lido Loca Cruise Show, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.